This evening we are going to be looking at Mark chapter 1 from verse 35 down to the end of the chapter. It's a big bite, but I believe we could at least start. And then as we dig into it, we will see the treasures that God has there for us. So I will ask Jean if she could read for us, verse 35 down to the end of chapter 1 of Mark.
In the early morning, when it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went away to a secluded place, and was praying there. Simon and his companions searched for him. They found him and said to him, "Everyone is looking for you." He said to them, "Let us go somewhere else to the towns nearby, so that I may preach there also, for that is what I came for." And he went into the synagogues throughout all Galilee, preaching and casting out the demons. And a leper came to Jesus, beseeching him and falling on his knees before him and saying, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." Moved with compassion, Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, and said to him, "I am willing, be cleansed." Immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. And he sternly warned him, and immediately sent him away. And he said to him, "See that you say nothing to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer for your cleansing what Moses commanded, as a testimony to them." But he went out and began to proclaim it freely and to spread the news around, to such an extent that Jesus could no longer publicly enter a city, but stayed out in unpopulated areas, and they were coming to him from everywhere.
Okay, so that is our section. And that follows after the hard day that Jesus had in the synagogue, first of all, preaching the word with authority, and then casting out a demon with authority, and then going home to Peter's house, where he healed Peter's mother-in-law, who was sick with a fever at the time. And then after that, after sunset, the end of the Sabbath, large crowds came to Peter's house with those who were ill with various diseases or illnesses, and also those who were demon possessed. And Jesus Christ, as the scripture says to us, cast out everyone that had a demon. He cast out a demon from them. And everyone that was ill that was brought to him, he healed each one of them. We saw in that Jesus Christ dealt with each one personally and individually. He didn't treat the multitude or the crowd as a crowd and dealt with them as a crowd, but he treated and addressed everyone individually. We saw how the scripture says that he spoke to each demon and commanded them to leave. And in some cases, he commanded them not to speak because they knew who he was. And with respect to those who were ill, he touched each one and healed each one individually and personally. The question was raised in that connection that seeing that Jesus Christ started that activity after sunset, sometime after 6 or around 6 in the evening, and he dealt with each one personally, and the crowd was so large that it looked like the entire city came to Peter's house. The question was asked, how long did Jesus engage in this activity of healing and casting out demons? We do not know, but obviously it went sometime well into the night. And as we see now, following from that, in verse 35, it says that in the early morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went away to a secluded place and was praying. How much sleep Jesus got? We don't know. But based on the description that Mark gives here, he probably didn't get much sleep that night. And this that we see Jesus did, getting up early before dark, while it was still dark, and going out to pray, I believe that should be a lesson or an example for us to follow. I suppose being so engrossed in what he was about, what he was doing, the seriousness with which he took his work, because that was his work, he sought to use every possible waking hour to be engaged in the things that pertain to the work that he was doing.
Right?
Yes.
Let me interrupt you. It says that should be an example to us.
Yes.
There's certain things that Jesus do that we're supposed to follow and do. But do you believe, because Jesus was truly man and truly God, do you believe that everything Jesus did, that we, his followers and disciples, and those he saved, could do? Because we are men, and Jesus Christ was truly man and truly God.
Right.
Because I say that because the Bible gives a record that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights.
Yes. Yes.
People now say that they want to fast for 40 days, which I think as human, sinful human, we're not Jesus Christ. I think we are human, it's impossible for anyone to fast for 40 days. I believe only Jesus Christ, as truly God, was able to fast for 40 days.
Okay.
And I say that because he said that we should we get up early in the morning and one pray to be an example that we should follow.
Yes.
But I believe as God, there are certain the things that Jesus Christ do that we men were not able to.
Okay.
How you use the word?
Repeat, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree that there are some things that Jesus Christ did that we cannot do because, as you say, he was fully God and fully man. But there are some things that we can do and we should do. I don't think that getting up early and praying in the morning.
No,
yes, I know.
Somebody tell me they want to fast, they're fasting for 40 days.
Yeah, just now, let me finish. And that fasting for 40 days and 40 nights is something that we can do.
You can do it?
Yes. As human beings. You know there are people that fast for months for a cause.
People go on hunger strike.
But that is fasting.
No, but they are assisted because they get medical attention.
Okay.
Jesus Christ got no medical attention.
Yes, but he was ministered to by angels.
Yeah.
That's medical attention for you.
No, I'm making the point. I'm not going to recommend that anybody go out and fast for 40 days. But I'm saying that if we want to do that, we could do it.
Okay.
Because people do it not for spiritual or religious reasons. They do it for political and other reasons.
Because
they want something.
So the body could do it.
Because they're fighting a cause.
Right. So as a human being, it can be done. So I'm saying that to say that it's not because Jesus Christ was fully man, fully God, that he was able to do that. But as a human being, we can do that. So there are lots of things that Jesus Christ did that we can do, but we wouldn't push our bodies to do it because we're lazy. And some of us do not take our Christianity as seriously as we should.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night, boys.
So I'm not throwing down all that you say, but I'm just saying that we should not use the fact that Jesus was fully God and fully man as any reason not to do some of the things that we could do if we push ourselves to do it as disciples of Jesus Christ. And most of the things that Jesus Christ did as a man, he did it as a man. And there weren't really any real assistance or dependence on the fact that he was fully God. He did it as a man. And you'll be surprised to know some of the things this body, human body, could endure if we are made to endure it. Remember too that the scripture says, a lot of times you sit down and think of things and say, boy, I don't think I could do that. We look at it and we read about it or we hear and we say, I don't see how I could do that. but the scripture says that God gives the grace to endure or to do the thing in the time that you need it. So unless you need it, there's no need for you to have it. It is not something that he gives us and we store it for when the time comes. He says when the time comes, he's going to give you the grace. So when the time comes, you will get what you need to do what you need to do. That is how it works with God. He doesn't give us things to store. And one of the reasons for that is that we need to be dependent on God daily. Just as Ruth prayed a while ago, his mercy is new every morning, and he gives us what we need to deal with what he brings to us in the moment. All right? So I often, when I read of those who martyrs of times past, how these people were able to be tied on posts and fire lit under them, and they, no shouting, no bawling, no crying, no nothing. I can't figure out how somebody could do that. And I do see how I can do that. But God gives us the grace and the time that we need it to do what we need to do. All right? So we can do much more than we do a lot of times.
Who was told and was taken for dead and to
Paul, the Apostle Paul, and just got up. Maybe he was actually dead.
That's the other thing. I cannot understand how Paul.
And he just got up and went about his business. Yes. Get up and went about his business. And continue the work as if nothing happened. Right? So for you to be stoned and left for dead, you got a good stoning.
Stoning is nothing. You have people stone. I just sometimes
You think, yes, but I'm saying God gives us the grace to endure these things. Yes.
Just remember Paul
right. Gives us the grace to endure these things, and so we are enabled to do it, and we continue doing his work until he is ready for us. All right, so we are in Mark chapter 1, Colleen, in case you don't know. We are in Mark chapter 1, and we are looking at verse 35 down to the end. It's a long section, but the first part of it is there isn't anything new, much in it that we need to look at. The primary thing in that section is the fact that Jesus Christ got up early in the morning and went to pray. And we were just making the point that although he had worked late into the night before that, and what he did was demanding on him, as we saw, emotionally, spiritually, physically, he still got up early in the morning when it was still dark, according to Mark's account, and went out in a secluded place to pray. And we need also in that connection to understand that praying, serious, deep praying, is just as demanding on a person as what he did the night before. And we have the example of that when he was prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, what it means to pray deeply. All right, so we shouldn't think, okay, well, praying is not that demanding, so it's okay, he could do that. But the way Jesus Christ prayed, the examples that we have of him praying and the intensity with which he prayed, I don't think we could view this as a light thing that he was doing. Before it was fully daybreak, while it was still dark, he got up and went out in a secluded place to pray. And I was saying that this is an example that we as Christians need to follow in our discipleship of Jesus Christ. Peter is making the point that some of these things might be difficult for us to do. And I was countering by saying, yes, they might be difficult, but if we push ourselves to do it, we are able to do much more than we actually do as Christians. And I'm saying that to you as I say to myself, because I know that I can do more than I do a lot of times. All right? And we make all kinds of excuses. We're tired with this, with whatever. But if we follow this example from Jesus, we will see there is no such thing as being tired as a Christian.